All right, guys. For whoever is catching this recording, if you're not here live, tonight we have with us Pete Adams. Pete has been on an interview that I did, gosh, it was a couple of years ago. A little bit about Pete. He is a self-made entrepreneur. If you read the introduction to this event, you get a little bit about his story. To add a little bit to that, Pete was in the United States Army. From there, he went to school, got a couple of degrees, advanced degrees in finance, went on to work for a corporation, a hospital corporation, a job that he will tell you he absolutely did not enjoy. And I'm being kind here. And from there, he was sort of called to go into real estate, where Pete did really, really well, investing in the market when it was really, really growing quite rapidly in the mid to early 2000s. And then he invested other people's money, built up a really good fund, but then everything went bust. And you know, they say it's not how hard you fall, it's whether or not you get back up. And when where the rubber meets the road with Pete is while he was on his back, he got right back up, and within 3 years of making a decision to go into the business that he's currently in, it just hit a home run. Actually, it was a grand slam, and his story is really, really interesting. Along with that, Pete's a 7-time Ironman finisher, so he does things that most people never do, and that's one of the things that really impresses me about Pete. You know, to go out and do an Ironman, for those of you who don't know what an Ironman competition is, it's a 1.5-mile swim, a 102-mile bike.
Hey, let me help you out, Clay.
What is it? A 2.5-mile swim?
It's a 2.4-mile swim, a 112-mile bike, and a 26.2-mile run.
Right. So that's a marathon, and that's, you know, I do smaller triathlons. I don't do anything near that. But guys, and that's done in one day. That's not like over the course of a week. So with that, I'm going to turn this over to Pete, because when it comes to goal setting, Pete's the guy. He has and this is beyond goal setting. So it's just not your standard goal setting. It's actually going out there and creating the reality that you actually want. And Pete's done it more than once in his life. He does it over and over and over again. Today, he's out in Breckenridge, Colorado, with a business in Florida, but he lives in the resort community of Breckenridge, Colorado, and is doing what he absolutely loves. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to you, Pete. Let's get this going.
Cool. Thanks, Clay. Well, hey, I'd like to welcome everyone to tonight's live coaching call. We're going to talk about effectively setting goals, and also how to use my visualization system to work with the law of attraction to achieve them. I'm going to ask everyone to hold off on asking any questions until we finish the process. Once that's done, we'll open up to questions, and we can ask me questions about goal setting, or we can talk about anything law of attraction you guys are interested in. Just for the people who are new to TheVibeProject and maybe don't know me yet, I wrote a book back in 2011 called Visualization, and essentially it started off with I was flat broke. I hated my job, like Clay said, and I needed some desperate change. And from there, what happened was I set 12 crazy goals, and that's the first chapter in my book, Visualization. And in short, within 3 years, I achieved all the goals that were on that that I had created for myself, and they were like borderline ridiculously stretches for what I could believe at the time. But through working with the law of attraction, I achieved all those goals. And you could, I don't want to ruin the book, but if you want to get inspired to see what's possible, please listen to my book. You can listen to it on my YouTube channel. Just Google Peter Adams and Visualization, and it'll pull right up. And I've also got my other 2 audio books out there, which is the 7 Master Keys to Success, Working with Deliberate Creation, and also Shattering the Illusion of Disease. So check out the channel, subscribe if you guys wouldn't mind, and we're going to get started here on goal setting. So I would like to welcome you all again, and we're going to get started. Okay, one of the biggest things about having goals is it gives you something to, gives you something the universe to work on. Because if you don't set the intention of what you desire, you really can't get any place. It's almost like, just imagine having a GPS and you don't put in the address where you want to go, and then you just get me there. Well, it's just going to time out because it can't get you. Basically, GPS cannot get you to a destination if you don't put in the destination. So the whole thing about achieving great, goals and manifesting anything that you desire is like, you need to know what it is you desire. And it's like, you need to get real clear on that. And a lot of times people, I know it's just after the new year, and a lot of people do like the New Year's resolutions. And that's what, most people, like probably like 99.99% of those people who have New Year's resolutions, they give up in like 30 days. And the stuff about this, working with the law of attraction, is you can create anything you desire, but it's not going to happen probably in 30 days. So it's just one of those things, and you need to be aware of. So the biggest thing to start off with is, what do you want? And I'm serious, because you can have anything you desire, and don't waste your time on small things. Go for what you want. And once you have, write down on the top of a piece of paper, what it is you desire. Okay. And from there, I call that the what. So your goal is the what. But after you decided what the what is and have written it down, below that, write down all the reasons why you want this goal. Because it's why. It's always, you always got to ask the question, why. Why do I really want this? And if you don't have a real good reason for it, then the goal it's not really a goal. Just blow it off, because it's not big enough for you. You got to get goals that will inspire you to get up every morning and work towards them. It's, that's the important thing, because it's like, it's just like an endurance event. It's like, you don't stop, you don't quit racing the Ironman until you get to the finish line. I mean, that's just how it is. So you just got to be aware that it may take longer than you think it's going to take. But, once you get started, just know that it's on the way. One of the challenges a lot of people have with written goals is a few things. One of them is fear. A lot of times people are afraid of creating written goals, because if they don't achieve them, they're like, oh, how bad am I going to feel then? So rather than risk feeling bad about not achieving your goal, most people they won't even bother doing it. They just rather not have the fear of feeling pain. So they don't set goals, and henceforth they don't live the life of their dreams. They just kind of stay stuck in a rut. And another thing is is accountability. It's like, I share my goals, the big ones, with my wife, of course, and it's I want people, I want somebody to hold me accountable for whatever I say I'm going to do. So when I set my goals, it's my goals are always super important to me. They mean a lot, and it's like, it's almost to the point of, it's like, I'm gonna work on this until I get it, or I'll die in the process. So it's it's important. And
So
another
Pete,
thing,
a
yeah,
question on that, Pete. I want to, I just, if you
go
don't
ahead,
have
man.
a significant other, if you don't have
Mhm.
somebody like you and Robin work really, really well together, what would you suggest to somebody who's not in a relationship where the significant other, either they don't have a significant other, or the significant other isn't really on board with them? What would you suggest in that case?
Oh, I would suggest teaming up with people who are like-minded, like yourself. Remember, for those people who don't know Clay and myself, we met at a meetup group, and a bunch of like-minded people. And it doesn't have to be your significant other. It could be part of a mastermind group that you created. But the biggest thing is, find somebody else who's got big goals, and stay in touch with each other, check in, and make sure everyone's staying on track. That would be my suggestion, Clay.
Gotcha. Thanks.
Cool, man. Yeah. And another thing is, a lot of times people set goals, and sometimes people set goals that they're just too big for them. I mean, right now, if you're driving a broken down car, having the goal of manifesting, I don't know, Lamborghini or whatever in a week is probably outside the, it's outside my consciousness at the moment. But it's just one of those things. It's like you really got to believe it, because once you get started with the stuff, the power of belief is huge. I got some rules for goal setting, and for you guys, if you're taking notes, that's cool. But if you don't, if you want to wait, hold off. You can see all. We're gonna have this presentation up on probably on Clay's site and also on my YouTube channel. So it'll be up there. It actually is a PowerPoint, and my wife is actually working on it right now. So my rules of goal setting are, first thing is deeds, not words. I've got a great example in my book, Visual Festation, where a friend of mine who didn't have written goals, it was just like, had this, oh, they're up here. Well, it never happened, because it's like they're not written, and there's power in, there's energy in the written, writing the stuff down. Everything's energy. So it's like, your goals need to be written. It comes down like, words, not thoughts, because if you write them down, and what I do, I write my goals every single day. I write them down on a note card, and I carry that note card with me throughout the day. And I've been doing that for, I don't know, probably 15 years. And I got some amazing things to tell you about putting your goals down on index cards. One day I was telling Clay about this a while back. I wrote on the index card, to play great golf. And that was just my daily goal for that day. And you know what? I got a hole in one that day. And I get the card. It's in my book. So it's like, this stuff works. I just want to tell you that. And one of the biggest things about having goals and being able to achieve them is, well, you got to be able to believe that it can happen. You don't need to know how. Stay out of the house. You just need to know what it is you desire to experience. And you have to be able to believe that is possible, because once you start doing we're going to get into the different visualization techniques in a few minutes. But one of the biggest things is, it's like when you're trying to visualize, having this goal in your head, and if you don't have the ability to believe that could happen for you, you won't be able to create the vision in your mind's eye of what it looks like to basically to experience it, because you're going to be sitting in there and you're going to have these things popping in your head. Well, that's probably not going to happen. You're basically going to have this negative self-talk, which is going to cancel out your ability to do an effective creative visualization exercise. And like I said earlier, the why is as important as the what. It's like, if it's like, I have to do this for, like, to say, it's important for my family or my kids or or me personally, whatever. It's like, it's got to be powerful stuff. You can have anything, so go for it. And also, whenever you're working on your goals, have them have them written down in the present. Like, let's say I am a successful business person, or I am a marathon finisher. You see what I mean? So it's in the present.
When
And
you write your goals, Pete, when you write them out, sorry for breaking in, but you
no,
so many
great,
good
please
points.
do.
So when you write when you do your journaling, you write it as if, like, as it's already happened.
Absolutely, Clay. Yep.
So I even though, like, when you were living in Florida and building your business, would a journal entry look or read as, I live in Breckenridge, I live in the resort community of Breckenridge, Colorado. I ski 3 times a week. I practice, I contribute to the philanthropies that light my fire. Were those, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but was that kind of how you wrote it in the present tense?
Actually, Clay, the way I wrote the goals down, like, it was like, I have no consumer debt. I am a self-made multimillionaire. I am a real estate investor. And then what I would do is, we'll get into the scripting piece, but that's what really you're talking about, Clay. And it's like, when I'm journaling, I call it scripting, but the same thing. It's just like, I just have gratitude. It would sound like something like this. Lord, I am so happy to be living in Breckenridge, Colorado. I'm skiing every day, and the sun is beautiful today. I can't believe how beautiful the mountains look. I love my life so much. I cannot thank you enough. And
Gotcha.
it's just, so it's like I'm almost creating this written vision of what I call my ideal scene. So it's like
Right.
everything I've wanted, everything I've desired in my life has all come true, and it's almost just like a written gratitude exercise,
Gotcha.
being in the now and having already been accomplished.
Right. Okay.
Is it
Thank you.
cool?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right on.
Oh, sure thing, man. So, what we're gonna do, guys, I'm gonna wrap up some of these things on goals, these rules, and then I'm gonna walk you guys through an exercise of what it would actually look like, with an example, and the example is coming up. So just remember that your goals must be written. You must know exactly why you want to achieve that goal. What is your destination or ideal scene? And you must have passion. If you must have passion for what you desire. And the thing too is like I do I call it my hour of power. It's something I do every single day, and I've been doing it for 20 years roughly. So it's like you stay with it, stay focused, you're going to achieve your goals. So let's talk about what that might look like. Okay, the the goal I picked for this example is I want to be a half marathon finisher. So let's say right now you're not a runner yet, but your desire is to run a half marathon. And in this case, the the half marathon we're going to talk about is the Walt Disney half marathon, which actually just happened. We had a bunch of friends run it. So the first thing is like, what's the goal? The goal is I'm going to run a half marathon. So you write down, I am a half marathon finisher. Okay. And below that, it's like, why do you want to do that? And maybe your reason is that you want to lose 15 pounds or something like that, or you want to feel you just want to feel more healthy, or it's like, or you have the desire to just have you want to just achieve it. So because it's pretty cool to cross that finish line the first time. Trust me. So those are the reasons why you do it. Okay, and then one of the biggest things I recommend is as soon as you've set the goal, you know why you want it. Action is incredibly important because you've got to meet the universe halfway. You can't just sit in your house and say I'm going to be a half marathon finisher, or I am a half marathon finisher, and you don't go out and take action like run. So as soon as you do that, once you decide, the next thing I would do is like I would get my credit card out that minute, and I'd sign up for the race online. Because it's like once you put the money on the table, all of a sudden it gets real, and it gets real very quick because now you're in it, because it's like you're not going to get a refund. So unless you want to blow $500 and have not achieve your goal, well, that's your choice. It's I wouldn't recommend it. So
So what you're
right.
saying is the action after you set the goal, Pete, what you're saying is you're following up with, you're taking a step in the direction of what you say you want.
Absolutely, Clay, I
And,
could
and,
not have said it any better. Yes.
and that's the key, because it's almost as if the universe is saying, okay, you put it out there and I'm giving you this opportunity. How bad do you want it? Show me how bad you want it. And then I'm going to go ahead and support you in that endeavor. Is that kind of your viewpoint?
No, that's perfectly, and it's I use the example of the half marathon because it's something a lot of people can understand, but it could be getting the dream job. It's just like whatever. It doesn't matter what the goal is. It's like this. It's always the same steps. So it's like decide what you want, why do you want it, take action, and get busy, because it's like if you don't sign up for the race, well, you're not taking the action, and then it's before long it's kind of like, well, maybe I'll do it next year. So it's like you're not showing commitment to the universe at all. So I just get started with that, and it's just like I am a half marathon finisher, and and this and I would create an affirmation that would I would carry in my pocket, and it would basically just, I'd read it throughout the day. That basically you're programming your subconscious to, like, go out and help you achieve whatever you say you desire. And you can start, and just start believing it, because it's like, this is the whole co-creation piece. It's just like, you do what you do your part, and the universe will absolutely come through, always, no matter what. So the other part of it, after you sign up for the race, is you gotta start running. And I know Clay, you race, so it's just like, you don't start off with a marathon. You start off with, like, say, like a 5K and then a 10K. So what I would do is I'd start lining up races that were shorter distances that would keep me focused on achieving my goal. So I'm always running a little bit longer in each race, and then capping it off with the half marathon. And another thing too is it's funny because Clay and I are both triathletes, and triathletes, they wear different clothes. I mean, every time you see these people, they got a Timex watch on, a running hat, and some kind of fitness gear on. So, start dressing the part. Yeah, I mean, really. And then another thing would probably be great to do too is to join like a running club locally, because it's a lot more fun training with other people. And like we said earlier, Clay, having the people that are training with you, it's almost like your accountability partner, because it's like, hey, I'm doing this race, you want to do it too? Because let's say both Clay and I wanted to do the Disney half marathon, so that Clay and I we'd sign up for the 5K, a 10K, probably a 15K, and maybe a 10 miler, and then cap it off with a half marathon. So that's once you get in the game, start doing that stuff, it starts getting a lot easier too. And the training is a lot more fun training with your friends. The other stuff I would do too is, start reading running magazines. Basically it's like you got to get into like this acting as if thing. It's just like, this is who you are, whatever it is. It's like you just have to get in the mindset. It's like, I am a runner. I am a half marathon finisher, and just start getting that mindset, because it's like it puts you in the space now, and when before it's going to happen in your experience. What I would do too is, like, once I get going on this stuff, part of the visualization system is I've always had a vision board, and now I have a vision book. So what I do is I would cut pictures out of magazines, like say like the start. You can find all kinds of stuff online now. So just find pictures of people doing the Disney half marathon and marathon, show them pictures of them crossing the finish line, and the medals that you're going to get when you run through the after you finish the race, run through the Magic Kingdom. I'd have all that stuff on a board, and along with the fact that I am a half marathon finisher, right on that board. And the reason I use a vision book is because I travel frequently, and when I do travel, it's like I bring all my Hour Power stuff with me. It's like I will leave my clothes at home. If I had to make a decision between I'm bringing my law of attraction, visual manifestation stuff, or I'm bringing an extra pair of jeans, well, the jeans can stay home because I know what's more important.
Right.
That's just how I live. And one of the things one of the things I was super big on is creative visualization. That, to me, that's like the most powerful thing that I do. And it's just like, when you guys, if you haven't read my book before, it'll blow your mind. Some of the stuff I visualized, and it came through so crystal clear as far as what I visualized and what I experienced a few years later was almost like carbon copy. It was absolutely unbelievable. And it's just like, Clay and I will be doing another show in the future on deliberate creation. But for now, just understand that you can create anything, period. And that's the truth. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to talk you guys through a visualization exercise, okay? So if you guys don't mind, I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to take 3 deep breaths and relax your mind and shoulders. Okay. Now see yourself rising early on race day for the half marathon. See yourself eating your race day breakfast. See yourself tying each one of your running shoes while you are dressed in your running outfit. See yourself driving to the race and parking your car. Now see yourself attaching the race bib number with the safety pins to your shirt. See yourself lined up with all the other racers at the starting line. See yourself looking down and clearing your watch to 00, and then see yourself hitting the start button on the watch once you hear the blast from the starter's cannon. See yourself smiling in excitement, running with all the other racers. See yourself running past all of the mile markers, seeing each one until you finally pass mile 13, and then look up and see the finish line banner hanging over the road. See them clicking a bunch of pictures of you with your finisher's medal. Feel gratitude and thank God for this being true. Now slowly open your eyes and know that you really did it. So that's the visualization exercise. And it's just like, I've ran so many races now that I can just pop it. You know, I'm so visual that I can just pop in, and it's just like, I can almost like create my own mind TV almost. And once you guys start doing this stuff, it gets easier. You know,
Right.
so it's some of the things that I've been blessed, you know, in my experience to have show up in my experience that I've set down as goals. It's mind blowing to me. It's like sometimes if I want to get fired up, I'll read my own book, you know, or listen to it, because it's like, I'm like, did that really happen? It's that crazy. So
Well, you know, at the end of this, Pete, we'll talk about some of your goals that you've created. But I want people to know that, you know, Pete's using a running situation, a running example here, but this applies to everything. It could be a relationship, it could be your health, it could be money and finances. But you would apply this to anything that you really want to bring into your life. So,
oh, absolutely, Clay. I'm glad you touched on like on health and healing too, because it's like this working with spirit works for every facet of your life. It's just the same it's really the same process. It's like, you know, can you believe that you're getting better? You know, do you believe you're being healed, or are you not believing it and then creating more of what you fear and you don't desire in your experience? Because, you know, whatever you focus on, you're gonna get. And, you know, because it's like, that's just how the whole, you know, the whole system, quote unquote, works. It's always working. It's always running. The program is always running, and it's always running for you, as long as you think properly, and you know, focus your attention on that which you desire, and not what not what you fear.
right, right. So can you see yourself, you know, if you're trying to lose weight, can you see yourself getting on a scale and the pounds dropping? Can you see yourself buying clothes that are smaller? Can you see
Oh,
yourself, you
oh
know,
yeah,
all
Clay.
these things? You want to be able to visualize that, and that's the key here, is being able to see it in your mind's eye,
Ex-
and
exactly.
and really go through that exercise.
Right, and one of the great examples of that is, back in the day, Arnold Schwarzenegger was like an incredible bodybuilder, and he visualized his body for like an hour before he went to the gym. What it was going to look like,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, you know, and he just created this crazy physique, but he did it in his mind while he was working on getting to, you know, he started off winning some smaller events, and then he won like Mr. Olympia, which is like the Mac Daddy of that, you know, that sport. But he crossed that stage probably a million times in his mind, and there's like
Right.
so many examples of that. He wouldn't call it law of attraction because he's probably not up on it, but to me it's just like, that's so law of attraction is ridiculous. And what about being the doing the thing about the weight loss too, Clay? One of the things that I've done before is, people like when we say, you know, they're holding on to their skinny jeans. Well,
Mhm.
make that your goal, getting back into them. Don't throw them away. Don't
Right.
give them away to Goodwill or whatever. It's like, no, I want to wear a size 0 or whatever the heck it is, and and set the intention, and then try putting those jeans on like once a week, and before you know it, they're gonna fit.
This is such a real life example. We just had somebody come in onto this presentation. Mason Sykes put a picture up on his Facebook of Mason. Tell me, how many years was it? 8 years ago. You had a picture of you 8 years ago, and then you had a picture of you last year. And Mason came in, and man, his transformation, his body transformation is nothing short of incredible. So Mason, kudos to you for sharing that picture and for the work that you did. And I think he was actually had some health issues that he was dealing with at the time, and he overcame those. So Mason, if I'm right, just type in, if you could, just make a comment, say, yeah, I got it right. Or if not, go ahead and correct the story. But I wanted to acknowledge that because I saw it the other day on Facebook. And that's, again, he must have visualized, I would say, he saw himself as that fit person before he actually got there. And it was quite a transformation. So,
Well, yeah, great job, Mason. Great job. Cool.
so
Yeah. So, Clay, if you want to, if any of the people watching this broadcast have any questions, I'm ready to open it up if you're ready.
yeah. Guys, if you have questions, now is a great time to ask Pete. And if you, as you're typing them out, I'm just going to say some things. A goal that you attained within 3 years, and it was a financial goal. If you read the introduction to what this event is about, back, Pete lost it all in the real estate market, and then on your comeback, you shared with me the goal that you set your intention on.
Yeah,
go ahead and share that.
I'll share this because that's one of the that's one that's just like so. This is just this is how powerful we all are. Back in after the crash, and I won't get into the messy details, but I was at a point where I was down to about literally $20 in my checking account, and I'm just like, something, I needed something massive. So knowing, being the person who wrote the book Visual Festation and having achieved 12 crazy goals, at the time I was 45 years old, and I set the intention to retire in luxury at or before the age of 47, and do a crazy series of events that all happened for me. I achieved that goal. And when I wrote that goal, I was just like, well, I'm going to go big or I'm going to go home. And it manifested. And it was just like, and to look at that index card where I wrote that goal as an affirmation, and to have had achieved it, actually about 3 months early. Clay would live through this whole thing with me, so he's just like, that's crazy, I'm like, yeah, but it worked, and that's the thing too. It's just like, it's miracles happen all the time, guys. That's all I can tell you. It's just miracles are happening all over the planet. You just don't hear about them because they're good news, and good news doesn't sell. So it's like,
So when you set your goal, Pete,
when
you set your goal, you may have had a plan, a rough draft on maybe how it would manifest, but you basically, you focused on what you wanted and let things come into your life to take you there. You didn't say it has to go A, B, C, D, did you?
Oh, no. And thanks for bringing that up, Clay, because that's the how piece. So when I put it out there, I had no idea what business opportunities were going to come. I had absolutely no idea about any of it. I just said, I'm going for this, and that's it.
Right.
No matter what. And what happens is once you make that commitment, that burning desire, as Napoleon Hill would say, the doors open up that you can't even imagine. So it's just like, don't let your don't set the intention of like what you want, desire for your goal, and then just get into all these reasons why it's probably not going to happen. Or oppositely, decide that this is the way it has to happen. Well, spirit knows the best way to get you to your destination. And for me, it was like, it came out of, this is going to sound crazy. It came out of Ecuador. I mean, I couldn't have seen that coming.
Right.
So it was just like, it was just amazing,
Right.
And I'm just, I'm just blessed to be able to share this story with people, because it's like when I first started, back in around 2000, 2001, we started working with the law of attraction. It's like, when I saw those 12 crazy goals in my book, it's just like, I was miserable. So it's like right now, guys, if you're not, living the life of your dreams, don't worry about it. It's like once you decide what you desire and set the intention, now you're on the road to achieving, anything that you desire. And if you stay with it, like I do every single day, and, it's a must, it's going to show up that much sooner. This is not something you dabble in. This is something that's like jihad.
So the key then, Pete, just if we back up and kind of run through the process, you set your goal, you set your intention. So you're basically scripting what it is you want and how you see yourself, and you're claiming it as if it's you don't put it out in the future. It's like, I'm gonna be this someday. It's no, I'm living in Breckenridge, Colorado, at the ski resort. I'm skiing, several times a week, and I'm comfortable. I have all the money that I need to survive and to live, and I'm supporting the philanthropies that I believe in. And then so you script that, but then you start taking action. You just don't sit back and say, well, okay, come on, universe, just drop it in my lap. You start taking steps in that in the direction of where you want to go, right? So how does that look? How does that play out for you?
Okay, well, let's say your desire is to let's say one of your big goals is you want to take a cruise around the world, because gets like super easy to do. So you set the intention to, I am a global world traveler. So you just, right off the bat, it's like, start shopping those cruises, figure out what it's going to take, and start putting money towards that cruise. See those, get your vision board, start cutting out pictures of all these destinations that you're going to visit on your cruise, pictures of the ship you're going to be cruising on. And it's just like, and don't have the idea pop in your head that, well, I don't have any money for the cruise. Well, right. Set the intention. It's like, let the universe handle the money piece. And then, and then just like, I would have I would script. It's like, I love, I'm having such a wonderful cruise. This is amazing. The food is so fantastic. I'm meeting so many nice people, and it's just, and that's a scripting piece. And that what the scripting piece is, it's almost like a creative visualization, but you're writing it down. Right. And for me, some people are really good at scripting. My wife is like amazing at scripting. That's like her go-to technique. And mine's really visualization. So it's just like, visualization may work better for you, or maybe scripting will work better for some people, or some days one works better than the other. Just make sure you stay with it. But it's always in the now. And it's like, for any of those goals, it's like, see yourself on that cruise, just see yourself hanging onto the railing and overlooking the sunset, dropping into the Pacific. You're cruising through Hawaii, the Hawaiian Islands. Right. It's like, you see that stuff, it's going to show up. And another perfect example of this was when I before I got into the Ironman World Championship in Hawaii, I visualized racing that race every day for 3 months. And then I got into the lottery, created that. And then before I knew it, I was in the race. And the race was almost like it was like a video of what I had been visualizing for months. And essentially I created my own reality. It was just amazing.
So somebody just, I just saw a comment. It flashed across my screen. It didn't show up. It showed up on my phone, but it didn't show up in the on my desktop PC. So if you could repeat that question, if you guys could type that in, that would be. Pete will address that. I'm sorry, if you can type it in the comments section. In the Vibe Project room online, in the group page. Again, we'll go ahead and we'll address that.
Okay. Yeah, I just saw a good question pop up from Miles, and
Okay.
the question is, how do you get up when you get down? Cool. That that comes down to just trusting in spirit that everything is gonna work out for you. Because when you hit rock bottom, you just gotta push yourself up off the floor and brush yourself off and get back in the game. Because if you don't, if you're in a place that sucks, it's gonna stay that way until you get up and get moving and start taking action. Because it's like you can't climb out of the hole if you won't get off your butt while you're sitting in the hole. I mean, and it's just have faith in God, because it's like there's nothing you cannot be, do, or have. I've seen that in my life, and I've seen that with some of the stuff my students have manifested. That's just like mind-boggling.
So let's talk about that for a second. Let's talk about some of the work that you've done with your students. So let's just you don't have to name names, of course, but just share with us, if you will, one or two examples of the
Sure.
people that you've worked with and the success that they've had.
Right. One of the great students I've worked with, and it's just like this is so special because it doesn't matter where you are in the world. This stuff works any place in the universe. And one of my students, she's fantastic. I'll use her first name. Her first name is Gracie, and she lives in South Africa. And she heard me on a amazing show that's my friend Constance Arnold's show. It's called, Think, Believe, and Manifest show, and it's on the Law of Attraction Radio Network. And this lady in South Africa heard my show, and she decided to go into business. Well, it's been about 5-6 years now since she read my book, and then she took the action. She started visualizing what she wanted, and now she's got a successful wedding gown business, and she also just started doing catering events. And this is a lady from South Africa, like I said. But the other stuff was, one of the things she decided she wanted to do, she wanted to have like an upgraded kitchen. Well, she put it out there to the universe, and people just showed up and gave her like countertops, all these weird things. And she sent me pictures of her, her place, and it was just like she had manifested all these beautiful things for her home, and she used the law of attraction to do it. And it's just like there's some other success stories on my YouTube channel. But here's another one. There's a blog post I put out there, and it was a lady in California, and it's the title of the blog post is "What Color Do You Want?" And this lady had heard me on one of the shows, and it was again on Constance Arnold's show. And what had happened was she needed a new car, because one she had was like falling apart, and she was getting tickets for it. Excuse me. But she didn't have any money for a new car. And I just told her, so what came through to her was she had been staying in the house, like how it was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And once she dropped the house, like a friend of a friend gave her a car that was like only a few years old, like just as a gift. So it's just like, this stuff works. I'm
Right.
telling you. And there's there was another lady in Australia. She's a success story. She's on my channel, and she manifested like a handful of things, like no time at all. And now she's unstoppable. So it's it's like I didn't create this stuff. I mean,
Right.
it's just like I just found out how to work with it, in a manner that got me crazy good results.
And it
that's
doesn't
what I
even have
share
to
with
be
people.
something, Pete. It doesn't have to be something so huge. I
No.
shared with you and Miles a couple years ago that I wanted a wood antique chair. I knew exactly what it looked like. I wanted it for my office, and I didn't want to go shopping for it, but I wanted it antique, and I was gonna, probably get it refurnished. And it was in a matter of days. One of my neighbors was moving from Florida to California, and they asked me. They actually put it out on the curb with, anything they put out there was, we're not taking to California. You can have. It was the exact chair that I wanted. It was the exact chair, and
Yeah.
it's the way I saw it. And so, something as small as a chair, we can visualize what it is we want, put it out to the universe. I had no idea. I mean, sure, the conventional ways, I could have gone to an antique store or an estate sale or, a flea market. I could have done all of that, but it showed up literally, on the same street, basically across the street, right there, and it didn't cost me anything.
That's awesome.
It was a
Yeah.
giveaway. And, it's the solid wood antique chair. I'm like, that's exactly what I wanted. So anyway, I just want to put that out there, that it doesn't have to be these massive goals too. It doesn't have to be a new house or car or, starting a business, even though this works with that. It's just something smaller. It's the same process applies.
Oh, exactly. And it's kind of funny, Clay. Back before I really understood the law of attraction. Well, it's like I understand how to work with it. I don't know how it works. It's beyond me, and that's fine. But I remember I read a book called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill,
Mm-hmm.
and I started visualizing having a promotion back when I worked in corporate, back in the old days, and within 2 weeks, the director of finance that I reported to, out of the blue, of course, right? It's always out of the blue, resigned.
Mm.
And like within 2-3 weeks later, that was my new job. And it's like I just put out, see myself, rise in the food chain in corporate, and bam, it happened. And I didn't realize that it was just like that was an example of the law of attraction in action.
Right.
Before I even knew what was going on.
Right. Right.
It's like, it's like the whole thing is, it's always running. It's like the law of attraction is there, whether you're aware of it or not. It's like
right.
it's always operating in all of our lives.
And so the importance of knowing that the law of attraction always works. It can work for the things that you actually want, but the things that you're also thinking about negatively and visualizing negative things, you can attract those into your life too. That's why it's so important to be mindful that law of attraction never sleeps, and it can work for the things that you actually really want. It can work for those things that you don't want as well. So, we want to be mindful of what it is we're thinking about and focusing on.
Right. And to add to that, Clay, that just inspired, just gave me some inspired thought is, you can't spend the morning, thinking success, and then the rest of the whole day you spend your whole time worried about everything's, basically everything you fear is like in your mind happening, but it's only happening in your mind. It's like you're having your own little fear fest 23 hours a day, and you stay positive for like 1 hour a day. It's like you as soon as those thoughts of doubt or fear, you got to smash them with a sledgehammer.
Right.
It's like, it's like, get out of my head and just say no, because it's like either you control what you think, or your thoughts will control you, and then you lose your power.
And there's some really, really good techniques available in terms of doing what we call pivoting from a thought that doesn't feel so good. And that's really the key, Pete, isn't it? When you you're on the wrong path, when you start feeling in your body sensations that don't feel good. So if you're thinking a thought and that doesn't feel good, that's a sign to actually pivot where you're thinking and reach for a better feeling thought. Is that something that you just do automatically today?
Yeah, I do it like almost like unconsciously, but it's like, that's the thing. It's just like you got to recognize as soon as like you got to recognize when you start having, bad thoughts.
Right.
and like Clay said, you got to pivot off of those things, because if you don't, the next thought is going to be bigger and worse.
Mhm.
And then before, and like Clay said, it's going to affect your physiology. It's just like, if the fear gets big enough, it's going to make you want to throw up. That's how you're going to feel, because your body, your mind your spirit is saying, dude, stop this. What are you doing?
Right.
And
So to the point of the law of attraction, then, so even our thoughts are attracting more of the same thoughts. So if we're having a negative thought, it's going to attract another negative thought and then another negative thought. Before you know, you start going down, and there's this dwindling spiral where one thought's attracting the next thought, the next thought, the next thought. But we can also go in the opposite direction, where we can start off with a positive thought, and then that's going to lead to another positive thought. And so we need to stay on that track. And again, being mindful of what we're doing is really so important. Like if we're driving and we're fearful that we're going to get into a car wreck, and we keep thinking, well, I don't want to get into a car wreck. I don't want to get into a car wreck. Well, that's really not what you want. What you want is, I want clear roads. I want safe passage. I want, so you want to pivot on that. Not that I don't want to get in a car wreck. Let's focus on what we do want. What I do want are clear roads, safe passage, good driving conditions, and all of those things. So, is that do you
I
do something
totally
as
agree
simple
with
as
you.
that?
Yeah, it's exactly. It's like, create the upward spiral instead of the downward spiral.
Right.
That's perfect, Clay, because it's like, if you start thinking success, before you know, it's like, successful people think success is, that's just how they're programmed, and success becomes their reality. And people who are not successful at the moment, it's a lot of times it's because they have, instead of having negative self-talk, have positive self-talk. It's, I am worthy. I am loved. It's like, I have friends. I am blessed. Instead of like having a pity party, because it's like, you run the machine,
Right.
with your thoughts and your
Right.
feelings. So run the good program and get the good results, rather than run the default program, which is like, the rest of the world's running. Basically, they're running on empty, and it's bad and getting worse. Just wait. So
So
don't be like everybody else.
good point. I mean, you wanna follow what you want and not get bogged down by what other people seem to be doing or are doing. You just need to focus on what it is you want. So we're coming up to the end here, Pete. As I said, as we're sitting here, I'm looking at the people that are online, and there's a drawing here. I'm going to pick the person that won Pete's course. That's a $297 real world value that you're going to have access in it. Pete, how do people get a hold of you?
Okay, great, Clay. For the most part, you guys can just Google the title of my book, Visual Festation, and you'll pull up our website, or you can go to www.peterdadams.com, which is my website, and we have a newsletter there called Tools for Your Success. Please, it's free. Subscribe to it, and also please subscribe to my YouTube channel, because Rob and I, we've really been loading up a lot of. It's turned into our video blog, and it's also where we have all of our books that I've written available to listen to for free. If you're financially challenged, or prefer audiobooks, it's up there for free. Unfortunately, I did not do the narration, because it would drive everybody crazy. So I found that out. So, and I got some good people doing that stuff. And also, if you guys have any questions, just feel free to just shoot me an email. I usually get back to people pretty quick. And my email address is visualfestation@gmail.com. So for all you guys, it's like, thanks for being on the call. And if you have any questions, I'm here to help you guys. So feel free to ask. Okay.
Excellent. And so before we peel off, if you guys have enjoyed this, if you could just go ahead and like this this presentation. We're going to do more. We're going to have other people come on. Of course, we'll have Pete come back on. But as we step into 2019, and not that time needs to, a date needs to determine when we start, right? We can start right now. It doesn't have to be, on January 1st. It's important on what we start right now. And Pete's given us some tools to do that. And again, Pete has real world success and in really, really big things. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to get him on here, because he wasn't born with a silver spoon in his mouth. He did work in a conventional job, and there's nothing wrong with his job, but just hopefully you like what it is you're doing. He left that, had massive success as an entrepreneur, lost the majority of that, but what he didn't lose was his ability to create and knowing what he needed to do to create the next big thing. So that's the thing, is once you learn what Pete is sharing with you, whatever the universe throws at you, you can navigate out of it, and you can just come back stronger like Pete did. So with that, so the person that won Pete's course is Joan Ellen. So Joan Ellen, if you're there, send me an email or send Pete an email. He'll get you hooked up, but you had to be live on this call to actually even get in the drawing. So with that, Pete, I thank you so much for sharing all of your knowledge and your real life experience and giving us some tools to do that. Guys, this will be up and available as a recording right here in the Vibe Project. I thank you for being there, Pete, again, so much. And for all of you out there, thanks for supporting the Vibe Project and being with us here tonight. We'll talk soon.
Okay, guys. All right, have a great night, everyone, and thanks again. Thanks, Clay.
Thank you.